And I'm back. My intermittent streams, right? And I'm late. What time is it? I'm 10 minutes late. Not so bad because this whole week I've been, look at my arms. I've been considerably later than this. But we're not going to concentrate on that. We're just kind of concentrating on sliding back into our regular stream groove. I feel like I've sort of taken a mental checkout um, recently. I haven't been doing as much music as I should be doing. Hey, William, good to see you in the chat. I haven't been doing as much music as I want to. So I think what's going to happen is this will likely be the last stream. Maybe that might be one more. The last stream before Christmas, right? 23rd, 24th, 25th. I'll just, and then I'll be back next week. And then I was thinking maybe I should stream in the new year, right? Um, I want to have everything turned over and some new adjustments going by the new year, but that's not going to happen. What I should do is give up giving up shit, right? But I never give up giving up. I'm always, I never give up giving up. I never stop trying, is what I'm saying. I don't, I like, you know what I mean? Um, I never give up giving up. That doesn't sound good at all. It sounded totally different in my head. That's the magic of it, right? Things play out differently on paper than they do in the real world. Things show up differently in your head than by the time they hit the paper. They're different than by the time the paper hits the first rough draft of a three-dimensional object uh, that doesn't stand the test, right? So if I've learned anything, and why am I rocking back and forth? This is how I get into this kind of like Zen space I get into when I think of stuff by myself. This is why it helps to walk. Like when I'm thinking about stuff and I'm out walking, I like running. Running helps me think too, but I haven't run in like 5 years, and I know I'm gonna start back again. But there's gonna be side cramps and leg hurts and all this. So I'm not really looking forward to that. Uh, but this is what it is, right? We are destined to be a fuss budget weirdo. So let's lean into it at this point in our lives, right? Where who knows? So we want to learn some music. We want to start writing creative shit again, right? We want to be critical of the ideas around us, right? Like the not like all the ancient Romans. A lot of those guys are crazy, but like some of the best thinkers of like the ancient Romans, how they did it for like what the how long was Rome in existence? I want to say 5,000 years. I want to say that, but it's probably not that. But let's look it up. Remember when we could look stuff up? Ah, those were the days. Uh, how long did Rome exist? How long did Rome last? I said 5,000. I was wrong.
One sec.
How long did how long did Rome last?
The answer I found is 2,774 years.
2,774 years. I said 5,000. I think I had 5,000 in my head because the Jewish people said they were around for 5,000. And it's Middle East politics. Whenever I think of a number, I think of 5,000 in that region of the world. But okay, 2,800 years is not bad. The British have been around for about 1,000 years. It's fairly decent, right? As a government. One revolution in the 1600s, Oliver Cromwell, we all know this. Um, and then he ran the place for 40 years and he died. Then it went back to monarchy. It's what they like. They had 40 years, a long time to get out of that shit, by the way, too, right? Uh, but they've been around for 1,000 years, pretty much the same government. Um, the French hasn't. So after that level tier, which is, don't get it wrong, um, but some places are old and ancient histories, right? Like the Italians, the Romans. We call them the Italians today, but like the Romans. and the Gauls, who we call the French today, right? Um, the Germanic tribes, all that good shit. Even if you look at Putin's face, he looks like a white Asian guy. If you look, because if you look at their mountain people who still farm in the like, not the totally frozen tundra of Siberia, but where they still gather like yak milk and all this stuff. They have there's an ethnicity to Europe too, I guess, right? Versus all the people who wandered around. There are people who've been there for like 5,000 years, farming, camping, know how to hunt a moose or an elk or whatever. Their kids never set foot in a traditional school. That kind of stuff. Like we have some. They use some modern stuff, right? They have T-shirts because T-shirts are somehow everywhere in the world. But so we have some in Alaska, here in America, who still hunt seal and very native people, right? Other Europe has that shit too. Um, but yeah, so France is different now, right? Italy is definitely different after World War II, right? And before that, they were fascists, and before that, they had a king, right? So, um, the Pope ran the place. Now he's got like a tiny little stronghold. But watch that. He's still got a billion followers and they're all over the place. Um, so these are the players, right? That's the Roman Catholic Church has been the Roman Catholic Church for as long as uh well, for about 1,000 years, let's say. Um at William Conway SR. Um but these are the ancient places, right? Mexico's an ancient place, but it doesn't have the same government. Canada is a newfound place with ancient people. Their government, I want to say, it's pretty much different. They never had a revolution though, but they used to be like a colonial, but they're still sort of very British influenced. The Queen's on their money, right? Queen's on Australian money and money all throughout Indonesia. I think it used to be in India too. So, I mean, then the government you adopt is the one that you are likely taught in the modern Western world. And let's say modern, going back to, let's say, 1950, right? Because Vietnam was a communist place, and that's ancient. So no very old places have like the same government. So you sort of gotta nod your head to the Britons and the Nordics, right? Scandinavians and like they also have kings, Queen Princess Queen Benedictrix of Holland or something. Anyway, that's that. But ancient Rome facts and locations. Oh, so yeah, man. Uh, the ideas of these old and ancient places I think are cool. Da, 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 Yeah. All right. Hmm. So why do you have anyway? All right. There's not a lot going on this Christmas holiday, but someone did ask the question I've been asking for about 5 months now. Uh, why is all Joe Biden's press conferences at 1:30 and 2:30 in the afternoon while people are at work, right? We all used to gather around and watch what the president had to say. By the time 9 o'clock comes around, he can't keep his eyes open. He's too old for the job. In a time where we got real problems and we need real answers. And I think you got all these people who are unvoted for playing these games, setting their nest egg up at the cost of us, like they always do. The whole Joe Manchin thing is crazy to me. He drives a Maserati. He has a giant ass yacht. He drives a Maserati to his yacht. It's outrageous. Oh. I'm getting an alert for a game, naming game, Rocket League Frosty Fest. Yeah, I know Rocket League is like the top pin game in like the world. I cannot mess with it. I don't get it. Um, we just close that. So I've been having some wiggy issues with my connection, so I have to keep an eye on that. It normally slides out, but my here we go. It but my cue is was he a minor? Okay, and now I got to keep up with you. Was who a minor? Minor as in minor 49 and not minor as in minor key or right. Oh boy, see what happens? Oh yeah, man. So I lost you guys for a bit, but because uh, I lost you guys for just a second, and my cue is when the camera goes out. But yeah, it's been dropping me all day, so I'm gonna have to deal with my. I got a whole lot of stuff to deal with. Who's Alicia Witt? Alicia Witt's parents found dead in their Massachusetts home. It's a surreal loss. Who's Alicia Witt? It's trending. Gold ring, one of the earliest depictions of Jesus Christ found in ancient shipwreck. Nearly 22 million Americans are millionaires. Here's how they got wealthy. Yeah, see, that's that whole. Look, America sells everybody this dream, and everybody. Um, oh, she's an actress. Everybody wants to be rich, but at this point, America's becoming a fucking Ponzi scheme, right? You can't afford to. I don't want to be rich, but I want to be a homeowner, and I want to go to a good school. I don't want to go to Yale or Harvard or Princeton or Johns Hopkins or Columbia or Dartmouth, right? I want to go to an IT school. Or maybe set up a small law practice over here, or maybe practice medicine, small medical practice over here, or maybe can't do any of that in America anymore. But they're selling everybody millionaires and the lifestyles of millionaires. And as long as you're rich, you could be a drug dealer. But as long as you're rich, right, you could be a prostitute, robbing guys in hotels. But now, as long as you're rich, no one cares about that shit. Until you make a left turn and end up in the tabloids again, and then they'll start exposing all that like they didn't know it before. This whole country is just, I don't even know what to tell you, man. I really don't. We got real issues. It's smoke and mirrors. It's good to see you, Emmanuel. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's ridiculous. Um, and the thing is, man, I look at like history, and I always go like reading it as a younger person. I'd be like, man, it must have sucked to grow up then. Man, why didn't somebody do something? It's the same thing right now, right? It's like, man, you're like, why don't somebody do something? Who's gonna do something? Who's gonna do something? Not me, you know. And I know some places where you can't even critique. So, all right, but I tell you this, something's got to give. Something really has to give. Something has to change. I think the average person is unhappy with their relationship with their work environment as well as their boss, all this goofiness going on, right? Um, not just like the unwilling goofiness, but the willing goofiness, right? Uh, William showed us that Capo got suspended and transferred for getting a lap dance from a rookie, right? You should have better judgment than that. Thanks, man. You should have better judgment than that. You really should. Should anybody be fired for it? No, of course not. But you know what? This is the kind of stuff where you do at work, and then the guy will take that as the hey, how you doing? It was like now all of a sudden it's leave me alone, and you're a creep, and but you're like, and then when somebody like puts you at an arbitrary hearing and goes, did you give him a lap dance at a Christmas party? All right, all of a sudden now he's just trying to besmirch your good image. No, but it's a thing you did, right? And granted, nobody should die for these stupid indiscretions. Nobody's without sin, as they say. No one's infallible, but still, there comes to a point of good judgment, right? Just good judgment. Um, and if this was a company, America was a company, right? And you did some great thing, you would be promoted upward, right? That's the way the society should work. Nobody, I mean, they've frozen people in place to make sure they have a steady flow of renters. They diseducated. They they didn't bother to educate. I think America gives you an education to read and count to 1,000, right? That way you can work in like delivery stores or whatever, and read an address to deliver a package. But if you want something more, I mean, it's like tooth and nail. We should have had a free college system a long time ago. We really should, right? You've been talking about the price of this shit. You've been talking about the price of medicine and all that, and nothing gets done about it. So I was not for Joe Biden a while ago, and now he looks to be just kind of like he looks to be flailing, not even flailing, right? So we're gonna see what happens. The election season kicks off essentially right after I want to say Valentine's Day. Like people sort of recover from the new year, they get settled into like right in like 2022 on the new checks. Give that about 3 or 4 weeks. When people stop saying Happy New Year, give that about 10 days. And then like you're back at it, and that's gonna be what happens. And before you know it, the good feelings of good tidings to man will be gone, and people will be looking toward spring and summer and the new election and who's gonna run and who's leaving seats. We'll see. But he let the cat let thee cast the first stone as they have never sinned their whole life, and there will be more variations of the virus. Yeah, today is NYPD captain raping officer doing details at Yankee Stadium. What? This is what happens when you don't check power, man. Right? It's like that look, man, a police captain is a big deal in New York, right? It's a huge deal. Um, People fuck this shit up all the time. Now you get to go to prison, idiot. I mean, good lord, that's. But then again, look, man, that guy, Chris Noth from Law and Order and Sex and the City, right? Two women accused him of some shit. Now he lost all these jobs, right? No judge, no cop, no lawyer, just this this woman's story, and this is where you're at in the modern era. Um, I don't know. Did he do it? I don't know. Should he get to defend himself? Damn right he should. It's sort of too late because people just go, yeah, we just decide to cut ties for our own reasons, right? So it's a dangerous environment, people. It really is. Um, yeah. So I mean, take that shit to the cops. Seriously. I mean, at this point, I'm disbelieving people more and more, and I'm wishing that somebody had a police like statement, and even if you didn't go to the cops, you caught your girlfriend, you spoke one night and cried about it, and she came in the next morning, and then you both went to a doc, and then 10 years later, oh yeah, we cried, and then you got phone records to say so, and da 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 da, then a text message saying to take me to the hospital, but people are like, wow, that all fucking sort of corroborates what somebody's talking about, versus this random, the fuck was that? A giant bomb in the middle of my life. Holy fuck. Yeah, we know that there are bad dudes out there, but it gets hard. It gets, you know, I'm off on a rant on this thing, aren't I? I sort of am. I think it worries me. I don't have any change in here, do I? Where's my wallet? It worries me, just because I've seen people abuse the system, and then you see people going to getting out of jail after 50, 30 years, 20 years, 50 years, and I'm like, somebody should be responsible for that. No one ever has an inquiry by the judge or the prosecution or the defense, right? But they're happy to run back and talk to the freaking juror. What is going on here? Oh boy. Um. Yeah. So the whole thing just. There you go. Good sweet jeebus. Yeah. None of it makes any sense to me. What? But you're supposed to have faith in it. I mean, we're at a point now where you can see that it doesn't work, right? So why am I having faith in it? Um, you as a leader in the government should be willing to fix all of the what's the word I'm looking for? Huh? I didn't know that. You should be able to trust those people. I'm trying to calibrate something. You should be able to trust those people to go and fix the problems as they appear in government, and they don't ever do that. But they do drop Maseratis to their giant yacht, which is just friggin' crazy. Uh, it gets more. It all seems to get more and more. I dare you. You know what I mean? This whole. I'm a senator. Yeah, I got a Maserati, and I'm lying to everybody, and I'm taking all this money, and I'm playing both sides of the fence, right? Because I'm a king in this small town of, where's he from? West Virginia, and they don't want reform because it's a coal mine country. But people are still dying of black lung in fucking 2021. I was like, really? I remember this being a thing when I was a kid. You know why? Because I grew up in a Brooklyn tenement where we had coal shipments drivers come covered in soot here in Brooklyn, right? And would pop a lever and coal would come down into the basement. And then they had a super who would get up at like 4 in the morning and go and stoke the coals in the. They still had those when I was a kid. None of those are around anymore. New York has been off of coal for like ever. Um, but you got to sell it to somebody, right? And I hate to say it, but it was like you know what, it's like oil. Yeah, like oil and gas. It's like it's the thing of the day that needs to go away, right? So you want to become a trillionaire? Come up with something to use other than oil and gasoline. You're still going to need oil, right? For lubrications and things. But since the world won't be driving, it instantly becomes like a barrel of oil is worth what it's 70, $80 on the market, right? It'll be worth a nickel. You know what I mean? You'll be able to get 10 barrels for a nickel. And that oil will be used for machinery, lubrication, and da. But the actual need of like fuel will be something different. But you're never gonna get there if you dumb up the fucking society, which is what we're doing, right? All the heroes are ridiculous. Somebody was like, Jay Z has all these Grammy nominations. I was like, I have a bugaboo about that dude. Then you put ashes out for trash pickup. I don't know what they did with the ashes. I think they had a giant vacuum, if I remember. Am I remember? You may have jarred something loose in my head that I hadn't thought about in forever. Um, what would I even call it? New York City coal shoots, right? Coal shoots. They were, how you spell shoots? CHUTES. Coal shoots. Ephemeral New York. This is made by is one from his body. Is it that last 5 blocks from who was that? And according to Griffin Morris, blah 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 blah. Immigrant 1903. He went into business with the Brothers Who Harp Company. He began his own custom register. Okay. Here's the thing about like some of this old New York City stuff. It's interesting, but it's not what you're looking for, man. He'll cover coal shoots. Coal. How about New York City coal delivery? Delivery. There's got to be an old picture of somebody. There you go. So, coal truck, home coal delivery. How long ago was John's Pizza? This looks like it's in Park Slope. Delivery of coal to John's Pizza. Oh no, he's using coal to cook with, right? Not to heat the whole place. People still use coal for. Every now and then the boiler would explode and take the whole building with it. Coal fire. Man, how how did they clean the? I can't even find any pictures of like cold delivery man. How about that? Amazing. Man wanted to murder a food delivery guy. Delivery cold man sack photographs. Cold delivery. How did they clean it up? I want to say it was a vet. Cold furnace basement cold shoot. No, I don't know. You see now you're in my head with this. I think what happens is it all just burns away. No, you have to clear it out. That's amazing. I don't really know. Yeah, wow. Anyway, let's check the chat. Did you put the ashes out for your neighbor? Wow. So that makes sense, right? So maybe the super will go down there, sweep out the coal, um, and we never saw it. But I was a little kid back then. And I remember because, it happened so often. That the garbage truck, the ice cream man, and the city bus were the largest things I had seen in my life, right? That kind of thing. Too young to cross the street kind of stuff. Um, yeah, yeah, the good old days. Yeah, the old days anyway, right? Whew. What tomorrow brings, baby. Do I want to cut on the light? Oh, so, uh, my car. I think I actually took a picture of it. I was like, God dang it. Okay, how can I show you this without? All right, you can't see this. So this light is out, but this yellow is yeah. Well, anyway, you can't see it. Um, but it was out. The light was out. See if I do this, if I do that, you can see that the light is out. Right. No, you can't. Anyway, this corner light, that light is out. On the other side of it, you can see the yellow. All right. Ugh, good lord. You can see the yellow. That yellow interior light is on. So then I drove through something. I don't even know what the fuck that yellow schmutzy gunk. I was like, what the hell is that? So yeah, I gotta get it washed off before it becomes brick. Um, so I was like, oh my god. So now my turn, not the turn signal, the inner. I was like, God, there's one, two. I think there's like three bulbs in that freaking headlight. One of them was out, and I was just kind of like, God dang it. So they text me, hey, how'd you like your and your and the bar? I was like, it took me 2 days. I was like, you know what? The light is out. I think when you put the thing back together, it just wasn't really tied in or screwed in or whatever. But the light's out. They're like, what? Can you bring it back? And I was like, tomorrow, come on back. So today I go down there. They take the car, pull it around the back. About 15 minutes later, they bring it back out, lights on. They were like, yeah, we don't know why. We checked all the lights. We don't know why it was out. And she brought it out to me, the light. She was like, it's not it's not blown like not the liniment, the filament is not broken, right? The little is it cadmium that they coat in the tube of whatever. I'm not even gonna look that up. I'm just gonna assume that I'm wrong. Uh, so she brought out. She was like, yeah, it wasn't broke. You can hear like the light, the rattle inside it, ting a ling a ling ling. I'm like, oh, all right. Car works like it did when I turned it in. I really do like that place. But I still have still have an issue with the repairs that were done because what happened was first they put the steering wheel on like this for the back, and now it's like this, but still, it's not straight. You know what I mean? So it went from this. I guess my my finger's center should be. So it should be straight like this, but it was like that. And I went back, and now it's like this. And I'm like, God, um, I'm not. Yeah, I may have to call. Like, yeah. And I was like, do I want to do this? And it's the Christmas holiday season. But yeah, so the car works fine, and we are moving on to new things in the new year. We are going to be a little more. What's the word I'm looking for? A little more healthy. Is that a word? A little. We're going to read a little more. We're going to try and do more things online to keep a kind of a good offness of whatever that is, right? Uh, the garbage pails in ground, plenty of maggots. There's maggots every place. The virus. This is like the seventh iteration of this fucking virus, and I mean, which COVID is this one anyway? Um, but excuse me, but maybe this last year will do it, right? Because it's raging every place, and I would ask that you all think of the elderly and those infirm people who are immune compromised, right? Um, just think about them when like maybe you'll think about them and go, "Nah, I'm gonna do my whole thing anyway." Okay, at least you thought about it. But I don't want to get anybody sick, and I don't want anybody to get me sick. And this thing seems to still be with us after freaking 2 years, man. Merry Christmas, man. Merry Christmas Eve. This is what did I name the show? This is Christmas Eve's Eve, right? Tomorrow is Christmas Eve's Eve. Is that right? Right. I think that's proper steppage away from it. Man, they're right. English is hard. Thank you, Milton. I appreciate it. Um, is anybody still working? Is Yeah, well, let's we could run through some of the chat. Who's policing the police is a really good question. But the police themselves, and that is part of the problem. At some point, when you get to like the head of an organization, it's up to you to police yourself because right. But the police can be policed by like the state police, who like city, state, and like local, state, and God, I'm all backwards. Uh, Local, state, and then federal, right? So if someone does something goofy in their town, then the state steps in, like the Ahmaud Arbery thing. You had to get the state police in there to look at that because they were, they were at the echelon of that small town where this could easily have been covered up again and again and again, right? And some whole towns are like that. So then, not whole towns, whole states are like that. So if your state is like that, that's when the federal, the FBI, Civil Rights Division are supposed to look into this seriously, and they don't do it either, right? So at this point, I don't even know what to tell you. Who polices a police is a really good question. We know how it's supposed to work, but it's a shit show of a fuck fest, or vice versa. What works? Whiskey. Yes, I'm having a midnight libation. Not really midnight. I I sat here yesterday. I was ready to stream, and I was like, I'm exhausted. I didn't stream yesterday. I went in the other room at like 7. It must have been 7:20, and I laid down, and I woke up at like 2 in the morning. Worth it. I don't know what's going on. I'm very. I feel like I'm running on exhaustion, and that's not good. And I'm like, I get up early. I don't stay up too late like I used to. I don't drink like a fish anymore. I do have a drink a day. Uh, and at these days, I only generally have it when I stream. Um, I just think I get melancholy at the end of the year. I think it's the season for grieving. I hate to say it, but yeah, I just kind of get melancholy. So maybe that's why I haven't done uh, done much, even done much practicing. Yeah, I need a new start. I think I'm just slowly kind of like ushering myself out of 2021, right? Um, and I'm eager to sort of like slide into 2022 with high hopes. Knock on fucking wood. I swear to God, with my cross. Cause I gotta get more crosses in this piece. Um, it's outrageous. It really is. So the, the the new year is welcome. Here's the thing. Star Wars. What? Spider Man. Excuse me. Is a big box office sensation apparently. I love movies. I'm not gonna go see it. I'm not gonna go see it. Why? I don't want to be in a movie theater with strangers, and I don't want to be sitting around wearing a mask for 2 hours. Uh, I wear my mask when I hop and out of the car to go into a place. But I only do that for like 10 or 15 minutes at a time shopping, right? If I'm close here, I wear it at the gas pump. But I'm not trying to sit in a place with a mask on for 2 hours. No. Uh, and there's a couple of movies that I want to see that I'm not gonna be able to see in the movie theater. I told you I'm paranoid about this. There's no shame in my game. I'm not lying to you. I don't like the energy of this thing, and it is a bit self. What is it? Self preservation. Excuse me. It is a bit of self preservation because I'm an ex smoker and I'm paranoid about that. Even though I haven't had a cigarette for like 20 years, I'm so paranoid about that. Uh, and this whole thing just seems spooky as fuck. And I know that the odds are supposedly with me, right? Um, just on the average of it's not like 1 in 2, right? Get sick. It's like I want to say 1 in 100,000. Is that right? That can't be right because 200,000 people died. That would have meant 100 million people gotten it. I want maybe it's well 1 in 50 is still high. I don't know, man. I just don't want to fuck with it. Uh, but if it comes to it, I'm gonna pop more pills and drink more orange juice and say more prayers and you know. I mean, I don't know what to do. Uh, but I'm not going at it with bravado. But I'm also respectful. I get why you may have a totally different view. Oh my goodness. So I'm not gonna tell y'all this. I was thinking about starting to run again, like maybe not 3 miles, but like a mile a day, half a mile, just to kind of shake the cobwebs loose, right? Lose some of this pandemic baby weight that I've got on my frame, so to get myself back and hyped and energy, la 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 la, me, that kind of thing. Um, Almost like I'm training for something, but I'm not really training for anything. But it's good to get your body kind of like in motion to kind of like shock the system to be like, yeah, yeah, all right, I'm ready. Um, versus just kind of like your lazy, easy days of because then you get used to that rhythm. But there is something to be said for like working out before like a thing or immediately after a thing. Uh, what was that? Huh? Um, sorry. Uh, my phone flashed for a second. Anyway, so yeah, man, it's gonna be a humding of a new year. If I can just, I don't want to walk. It's vanity, right? You know who walks? Old people. I don't. I can run. Granted, you know, my knee is not as good as it used to be. Fair amount of surgery on it, not a fair amount, minimal amount, good enough amount. But I have to watch running as I get older, right? Because eventually it'll be bone rubbing against bone, and that's not good. So, but man, maybe I will fall into walking then. But the new year is just about 10 days away. Ugh. Yeah, 10 days away. So, I was wondering, should I keep a diary? Dear journal, today I walked 2 miles. It doesn't look like shit when you keep these journals. You just mark, but then one day you look up around March and go, huh? That's the payoff, right? That's some of the payoff. When you could come up with a grid and mark something that you do every day for a year. See, ooh, I'm at the halfway point, right? Oh my God, I'm 75% there. Oh, I've got only a few. People usually do this with like high school. coming up to graduate. Ooh, only 2 more months. Ooh, oh, 6 more weeks. Ooh, five. Oh, only two. But they don't do that looking in. Haps walking scopes. What is that? Haps walking scopes. What is that? So what works? Haps walking scopes. Somebody told me that there's a new feature. I don't even see it. Uh, I can't even right now. I'm not even trying to relearn any bullshit. Excuse my language. So yeah, in the new year, we will still be streaming. We will still be learning music. We'll still be talking this wild stuff. Um, but we're just gonna sort of not stress about it, right? I want to be here more days than not. Ugh. Um. Oh, did you hear that? That right there tells you that you're out of shape. Uh, you shouldn't be crackling when you move around like that. Uh, and back in the day, man, I was so active. Everything's moving. Nothing does that. Haps walking scopes. You like Ed? You must have seen Ed walking. That's right. Right. He does walk. Um, yeah, he does walk. I'm glad you pointed that out. Uh, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I think I'm fighting against the image of me, but yeah, I think I need to run. I'm not gonna, but while acknowledging age, right? So I'm not gonna kick it off and run like 10 miles. I'm just gonna try and do like a mile a day, maybe for the first, give myself the first 2 months. Do a mile a day every day. A mile I can do. Famous last words. A mile I can do in my sleep. What comes down to is getting up and going out and doing it. And we just streamed every day for a long time, right? So I mean, once I get into the rhythm of it, which I think of like is gonna take me about 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks before I begin to go, okay, we're doing this, and then I need another like 3 or 4 or 5 weeks to go. All right, we're locked in motion. But that's the way I do it. See, that's slow. Other people can get immediately into the mind frame and do it from moment one, and those people are great. I'm just a guy. I'm just a dude trying. Yeah. So yeah. But that's not gonna be something that I'm gonna be streaming. But I'm realizing once you get more active, one you have to eat different, and there's gonna be a huge drop in like energy and what's the word I'm looking for? Energy and motivation, right? So some of these streams might be 20 minutes, literally 20 minutes, until you kind of like get on your feet with trying to sort of work out and then build something, and then things will fall away, right? So I expect the drinking to fall away because it's already doing that. I expect the smoking to fall away because it's already doing that. Um, and I expect other things to take its place. Like I expect the music to take more of its place, and I expect um, writing and reading and trying to like figure it out in a more, what's the word I'm looking for? Not logical way, but figure it out in my own way. That's what's the word I'm looking for? Figure like well, figure out. Figure out sounds hippie and fucked up too. What am I trying to figure out? Uh, just kind of like do my own freaking YouTube esque kind of like show, but not about politics or clothes or food or anything. Just kind of like slowly doing something, and then maybe look up. in a year or three, and then we'll see what we have. That's essentially what's going to be going on here in the next 10 to 12 days. Um, yes, but first we kick off by kind of like getting back into the rhythm of streaming every day because I like streaming, live streaming. But we're also going to try and like write some content. But first, all that writing content and doing that shit's like I'm looking at like if you honestly had to ask me, maybe June, right? I think the first 3 months of me is gonna be me trying to like sort of get back into kind of like my New York rhythm of just kind of like got to do it yesterday, got to do it yesterday. So because if I can get into a got to do it yesterday mode, uh, I can get some of the stuff done that I want to get done. It was funny because when I first moved south, I was like, I'm too hyper. I need to calm down. So now what I need to do is cut it on for. Yeah, we can do some tarot. We can read some tarot on some random days. Um, right. So just gotta. What's the word I'm looking for? Just gotta. Just be interesting on online is kind of like, oh really? Be interesting online is kind of like where we're at, which I think we can do because I think we're interesting people. I watched Matt Helm today. Don't even ask me why. Anybody know who Matt Helm is? Oh my god. Um. So yeah. Uh. I've been following politics my whole life. I feel like I need to decompress. Yeah, Dean Martin, exactly. Where did I learn tarot cards? I learned. Oh man, I have a very interesting backstory with. I learned tarot cards from an old girlfriend. Um, we would share these weird kind of like spatial anomalies. Let's just call them. And nobody likes to talk about that stuff. Like I believe in stuff that you might think is ridiculous. Um, I believe in it less as I got older, obviously. Like but I believe in ghosts. I believe I've seen a ghost in my life, right? If you tell that to a lot of people, they'll be like, but then you tell them to like, if you if you tell some, even if it's how there's no such thing as ghosts, but this experience was super real to you, right? Having someone who takes it seriously share, because they did a fair amount of reading about it or whatever, uh, share an interest in it is really interesting versus just telling somebody an interesting story who are like, oh really, you sort of go, oh, what happened, right? So I don't mind telling you the story and da 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 da, and like oh, versus someone going, oh yeah, my grandmother would do X and we because my grand like yeah, you know, witchery and all this spooky southern black lady stuff goes on in my family, right? And every now and then one of the guys gets to be super spooky and connected and creepy. Um, but look at me, I've got candles all in. Well, I don't have. I have. Do I have candles in this house? I don't have candles in this house. I have those tea lights. But in the old days, they would have been candles. But candles are a fire hazard, so most people now use tea lights. But I mean, I'm not out here being a Wiccan and playing to the devil or anything. I just kind of like, what if there's more than one way to be spiritual? Because I find it amazing that like the Indians had shaman, which would connect them to the Great Spirit and all this, and all these other groups had the same thing. So maybe there's something to be said for it before it was ruined by organized religion, right? Um, all religion should be organized, but let's just call corruption corruption. Um, so anyway, I don't know, man. But like I said, I can't change it, so I got to do something else, right? I can't. I'm not gonna cry about it. I'm not gonna hop out a window over it. I'm not gonna run for office to seek to change it, right? None of that stuff is possible with me. So what am I doing? I got to look in another direction. And since I can't better anybody else, I can only better me. And since I like to talk to people, maybe I can find one or two people who want to fucking do some interesting shit, and then I can go, oh wow, that's interesting. You build boats out of used wood or whatever. That's great. Oh, he builds guitars. You guys know each other. That's awesome. Oh, look at him. He's learned to play guitar. Hey, I'm over here trying to learn to play the flute or whatever, right? And then before you know it, you get other people going. I had to give up drinking and this, and I had to give up that. I had to give up politics, and it's people just kind of like looking to reestablish like a true north. Let's just call it. Um, and I think that's a lot of people. But man, it's good that I'm watching less TV and streaming more, but it's bad that I'm sitting down a lot and getting all this chunky but funky weight on me. Um, yeah, so let's be vain about our weight. Not really vain, but just more healthful, healthy. Uh, less procrastination, and that starts with running every day for at least the first 90 days. And I'm not gonna overdo it. Like I said, just a mile. Not 3 miles, which I used to run in New York. Now that I think about it, it's a little sketchy. And never headphones. You got to be able to hear the buses and the cabs and the bikes and the baby strollers and all that bullshit. But down here, you got to be able to hear like a stray dog or you know some racist bullshit coming your way. All right, we've been streaming for about an hour. Uh, so yeah, I should probably start sketch. I have a good idea of the show format. Um, but I gotta start sketching it out. Oh, I gotta change my name too, right? Everybody's true armor out here. So now, I'll probably. Ooh, I should probably have a naming. I'm gonna start a. I'm about to say OnlyFans. I'm about to start a. What are those things? A GoFundMe or a Patreon. Chuck Robb mansion burned. Really? Oh my God. It's Christmas though. Aw, but it's Christmas. Oh, they were injured in the fire. That's not good. Oh, wow. That fire is raging. That's that that is that is hold it. Hold it. Wow. That is a big ass fire. Um it is an old rickety ass giant Virginia mansion though. But Jesus, that fire is ooh. All right, look, let's ladies and gentlemen. How far am I from the fire? Hey man, don't go point your finger at me. I got an alibi, William. Thought we were friends. um, he he his house is up by Washington D.C. Right, so a lot of people live just sort of right over the district slash state border in Maryland, and in Virginia, right over the Potomac. Do I have my geology? Geology. Um, it's not geometry. Geology is rocks. Hold it. Wait a minute. Geology, geography. Thank you. Do I have my geography right? Oh man, see, this is what you don't want. You don't want to sit and take forever to remember things. You think it was candles that burned the house down? How do you know it's candles though? I mean, how do you know they're not just old people who left the stove running, or a Christmas short light? What is it called? A light shortage? A short out light? A shorted out light? Man, whew, me not good English speaker. Look at my arms are ashy AF. Ooh, this happens. Dry skin in the winter. Yeah. Ugh. Another thing I need to be doing. All right. I've got this window open. So this is the plan. Learn music and music theory. Prove that I know music and music theory by my guitar back there and this sweet keyboard that fell into my lap. I had to take that. So I'm learning to play music primarily on the guitar. Um, I've had a conga drum my whole life. African instrument. Oh, oh my God. Oh, just bring this, just hold this out in front of my arms. That's actually not a bad idea. When I was a kid, we would do this for 45 minutes, and my arms would hurt like F, and I couldn't wait to stop. My brother loved it, and he ended up working at the dance place that we grew up going to, and he ended up working there for like 12 years, all through junior high school and, well, not 12 years, like 8 years, all through junior high school and high school before he went off to college. Um, like beating a drum for like 6 hours a day. I mean, his arms were ridiculous. It's when we stopped like having brotherly fights because he was getting to be a bruiser. So it sounds one way down here. Can I show you this up here? It sounds like someone's firing off guns. This is Virginia, though. Don't be shocked. It sounds one way here, right? And another down here. Yeah. So, but I use it like this because you can't do that with your neighbors. Paradiddles. What are my paradiddles? Yeah. Did 40 minutes of that yesterday. So this is what I'm doing here. Even when I'm not doing anything, I'm just fucking around with music. And that's a hobby that I want, right? Having a good old time just fucking screwing around with music. Um and I'm ooh, let me get in frame. And I'm doing that over oh my god, my eyes are shot. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and we're completely incompetent, but if you want to save the world, you got to keep us in charge kind of bullshit. So now you just sit over here and you. That's not good. I don't even know what that is. Now you just sit over here and you do something else and enrich your own life. And for all you know, you may pick up a skill and be able to teach it to your niece or your nephew or your son or your daughter, your cousin or your brother-in-law. And, fast forward anywhere from 10 years to 60, you could totally change the course of like someone's life just because you decided not to keep making the same knuckleheads rich. I'm telling you, somewhere around after February, the politics are gonna pick up again, and I wonder where the Democrats are gonna find all this, because you may put it on the black burner so you could get through Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Christmas and New Year's, and settle into the new year, and then they're gonna be like, well, hey, the Republicans want to do this and this, and the Democrats want to do that and that, and I think a lot of people are gonna be like, yeah, the fuck the both of you bitches. Um, but I know from the side I'm on, like when the Democrats come and go, they want to third out Roe v. Wade. I'm like, fucking told you that when I was on Facebook, bitches, and you ignored me. This is me telling you a dragon is stomping through town, and you going fuck you, everything's fine. And now the dragon is sitting in the middle of the town square, and everything's afire, and you want me to go and get water buckets? Go, man, y'all are crazy. The people in charge shouldn't be in charge. They're all idiots, and they've all enriched themselves. And in the most dire time, and what I think is some of the most dire time in American history, the people in leading us shouldn't be leading us. What time is it? Yeah, we've got 8 minutes to go. But what time is it? It's 8:20. Woo. Is it 8:20? Wow. Okay. All right. So we went a little longer. Maybe I think we started out 10 minutes late. So that's what it is. Um, but you know one thing. No matter what I say, Biden won't hear it because he's asleep right now and has been asleep for about 5 hours. She should. She should run and she should boot the ever loving fuck out of Chuck Schumer. What in the you can't see the chat. In the chat, someone said Dick Morris thinks AOC is running. Yeah, he's right. But Dick Morris, he's wrong about everything, right? Um, the most blatantly obvious stuff that everybody can see, he'll side with that as a prognosticator, and he'll show up late to that, right? But he kept all the bullshit secrets of all the idiots and the morons, and he's acting like he knows this because he knows her, or he's got someone in you know, her deal. He's just a political name that he's like Karl Rove. They'll dig him out, but he doesn't know what he's talking about. Look, politics changes, and just because you've been around 50 years, don't mean you know politics anymore. It just means that you're famous, and this is what people need to remember. Dick Moore should not be listened to. He can go kick rocks. But yeah, she should run, and it's been openly whispered about for about 2 years now. And Schumer knows he's fucked, and he should be, because he made three grave mistakes as I see it. One of which is signing over all these conservative judges to Mitch McConnell, like I want to say 8 years ago, lifetime terms, so he could get some short-term deal. And now here you are, 8 years later. Roe v. Wade is fuck him. He's an idiot. He's a bad political tactician to boot. An incompetent man. Don't even get me started on fucking New York politics, because I'll be here all day. Um. Uh. Yo. So yeah. Tomorrow. What am I doing tomorrow? Am I staying in tomorrow? I don't know. I may stay and shave my head. I think it's due. Uh. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Um. AOC should run, but here's her issue. She's from a small. Well, she's from a district, right? So she's from a small district in New York, heavily Latino. She's gonna have to run against Chuck Schumer, a white Jewish person whose base is uh, how can I say this? whose base is wider than the Latino community within the city of New York. His base vote goes up to Albany and um, Schenectady and all these other places that her base doesn't go. Pretty good, huh? Save myself a strike. Yeah, but he's full of shit. And then you get a new police commissioner, and then we'll see what he says when inevitably some cop blows the fucking brains out of some knucklehead who may either be uh, innocent of what happened to him or could have handled it completely differently and did it uh, the more dramatic fashion anyway. Notice how I didn't say he was right or he was wrong? Political mind brain thinkerage going on here. See, once I start like running and like dropping the weight and drinking more water, my skin will clear up, my act, and maybe the girls will ask me to the prom. But before that happens, I got to do my American Beauty and kind of like drop the weight. Whenever I do exercise, I never change my diet. I don't. I generally eat a meal a day, and when I work out, I generally get hungry, and then I eat whatever's around. Um, but I'm gonna try and throw a giant salad in the mix. I'm overweight by a lot. Um, but it's going to be a good fun year. So my 2022 is about doing more shows, trying to do some edited content. I'm a one man show. You guys know this. Trying to enrich myself. Those are my hobbies, right? Trying to like write stuff and do some edited content. Video. What do they call it? Video essays, right? Video essays about some of the stuff I talk about. Um, Cooking more. I was fucking around with the idea of not ordering out at all next year. So cooking more. And if I don't have anything, and I've done this before, if I don't have anything in the house, don't order, don't eat, or get your ass up at 10 and cook something, right? Even if it's rice. One of my favorite things uh, is rice. So I can make, almost naked fried rice, like immediately, right? Two eggs in a pan with oil, um, whatever fresh vegetables you have. Um, Actually, I would do the fresh vegetables first, and then whatever meat you have, throw that in there to warm that up, and then throw an egg in it because the egg will cook the fastest. And it won't be like movie. I mean, I've got, I've got some Asian seasonings in there, but here's the thing: you have to eat it. If you don't like it, don't eat it. But the more you cook, the better you get at it, right? So yeah, let's see if I can at least for the next 90 days not order out at all, which I think is going to be easy. Um, Once I start running, drinking more water, I think the drinking will fall away. Likely the smoking will fall away, and I'll just start baking it more. Um, and I should fill up my day, right? Somewhere along the week, I have at least an hour to practice all of this shit. Not all in one day, but you know, after work, you come home, you do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, a little music. You run every day. How long is it gonna take me to run an hour? Run an hour. Run an hour, idiot. How long is it gonna take me to run a mile? How long did it used to take me to run 3 miles? Hold on. The average person runs a mile in about 15 minutes. So maybe I could just give myself a freaking. How long to run a mile? A non-competitive, relatively in shape runner that used to be me usually completes 1 mile in about 9 to 10 minutes. That's about right. I think my best was about 11-minute mile. That was a trillion years ago. I never did better than that. But I maintained about a 15-minute mile because it would take me about 40 minutes to run my three. Oh, is this off? Actually, you know what? Let's put this here. Thank you. And start that. We're running a little long. It's Wednesday. Tomorrow is Thursday, which is, you know what? Maybe I show up tomorrow and not Wednesday, Christmas Eve and Christmas, and then I'll see you guys sometime next week. Um, we will see what happens. All right, Galloping Gourmet. What's the farthest you ever chased someone? Wasn't a mile. Here's the thing about New York. Everything closes off on you fairly quickly, right? And everybody's converging on you from all angles. So these chases don't last long because, like I said, uh, there's like literally a cop within 4 blocks of you if you live in New York at any given time. There really is. You're not that you're saturated with them. There's always more people than police, but there's so many cops in such a small area that you could really stick one every fourth or fifth block and have the whole place covered. Um, for that one or two people, but not for everybody losing their shit. Uh, how I would say maybe a minute, maybe a minute, but I mean, it ended up being about down the street, around that corner, down that block, took a left, up another corner, and then up another block. So that's essentially 3 blocks, but up, right angle, and then a left angle up, and then at that corner a right angle up until he ran into like all these squad cars and everything. We grabbed him. But it was like 3 blocks, and mind you, it was in the summer and I had a lot of shit on me. Um, yeah, it wasn't long. It wasn't like an hour. It wasn't even like 5 minutes. No, but see, that's the magic because I mean, you're chasing 19-year-olds and shit, right? And you're carrying all this stuff and they're carrying nothing. So what you concentrate on is keep essentially holding their attention. They know you're chasing them. I got you, mother. So they're trying to lose you, not concentrating on like people closing in on them, right? Smart people who get into police chases think about routes out. That they don't care about who's behind them. Routes out. And if someone shows up and pulls it, there's always someone behind you, right? So I mean, yeah, these are. I mean, this is what I mean. I told my homie this. No one tries to get away with crime anymore. I mean, make it interesting, right? You know what I mean? And I don't mean to make it about. I said make it interesting, but the idea that everybody is emotional and will just strike out with violence, and then like, oh, yeah, really, what do you think? Who? Oh, it was Mexican drug kidnappers who killed my wife. Right, your wife, the fucking preschool teacher. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like you don't make any sense. Um, and I hate to say it too, but do it for a good reason. I hear they're looking for True. Why? What happened? Apparently, he had a job to deliver $10 million, and he disappeared with it. What? They're obviously gonna catch me, right? But like somebody will understand that. Ooh, can you imagine? Ooh, right? But hurting your mom, your sister, your kid, like he was always that's an asshole move, and you're an asshole. Versus, oh man, could you imagine if he had gotten away with $10 million, right? That's kind of like I don't even want to say that's the dream, but like of like the kind of stuff that makes you like a neighborhood, like no, not neighborhood hero. What do they call those heroes? A folk hero. The kind of stuff that makes you a folk hero is wow. He almost got away with $10 million. He almost took the biggest jewel in the world, right? He almost did. Versus, oh, he beat up a lady. Like, uh, right? So everybody, they've made everybody emotionally stunted and ridiculous. And even I forgot who I was telling this. Even your daydreams are bullshit daydreams, right? Now that's the magic about like an army, essentially, right? An army of men, an army. Everybody, you got different heights, different weights, different sizes. People can do different things. So I've helped more than one dude at the scene long enough to have bigger dudes show up to make sure he was not leaving the scene. Um, I've kept my eyes on people long enough for the same reason, right? Look. You have to be smart when you're a policeman. You don't tackle. You don't take. You're like a boxer in the sense that you don't take all fights coming at you because they want to fight. Um, but you are an army in which you make the best tactical decisions. So both of those are in the way that somebody can just keep an eye on somebody and go, now's not the right time to fight. Okay, there's 12 of them. We'll be there in 5 minutes. 8 minutes later, all of a sudden your numbers outnumber theirs, and you're tactically smart, right? Now you don't have to fight, but you still won, right? This is why I don't understand all this giddy violence, all this disjointed bullshit from these essentially racist frat boys, and I don't understand why nobody stops the nonsense. And like I always say, it doesn't stay in the glass; it spills all over the table and into your lap, right? Now they've been like mean and dark like this for so long. Now they treat common protesters like this, right? You can't treat me like this. I'm a nice old white lady. No, you're not. You're a hippie. And then like smash somebody's mom's head open. It just don't make any sense. Like a few years ago, they shot this girl at a protest with a tear gas. No, with a rubber bullet. And I want to say in Boston, young woman killed her. Nobody held fucking responsible. That's the nonsense. You always ride in the no, not in wagons. New York doesn't really have wagons. You get transported in the back of a patrol car, and someone rides in the back with the prison in the back of a patrol car. But we don't do wagons. We don't Freddie Gray this thing. Um, I keep saying we like I'm still down. I gotta tell you, man, it's the best job in the world. Just don't hang out with the racist asshats. You get to help people. You get if you're lucky, you get to bring life into this world, right? You get to like rescue people if they have a car accident, a motorcycle accident. Like they are happy to see you. It's not all breaking up people's fun times. She was from Emerson College. Oh, the girl who was shot. She was a college student, so she couldn't have been older than 21, right? That puts her between how old are you when you get out of high school? 18? And how old are you when you graduate college? 21. Most people graduate at 20. So it's this meanness, and then it's covered up, right? The amount of cops who killed people, who are just murderers, But everybody goes, it will never be me or my kids. They're fine, but it will be. Shot her in the eye with a yeah. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And if you would have seriously put your foot in that department's ass, but they're all politically connected, and this is my fiefdom, and I know Larry, don't worry about it, and he's the DA, and that's his fiefdom, and I back him up in his election, don't worry about it. And now you've got like this government, which is just a shit show. America doesn't work because of this. The people in charge are not the best of us. I would say a lot of them aren't even the brightest of us, right? But they're the ones who'll do it. I like to do it, but I'm not about the homework of it. Go fuck yourself, right? Give me the hot briefing of what you got, and I'm gonna make my best decision on what you told me. And you better tell me the right thing, because I'm not gonna read 3,000 pages. You know what that is? That's honest. They don't read 3,000 pages. But they'll sit here and tell you how that is outrageous. This job requires serious people, and then they become fucking mansion, Maseratis and yachts. Ugh, don't even get me started. All right, I I'm pulling the plug on this one. Um, I'll be back tomorrow 7. I'll be back tomorrow at 7. I got to get back in the habit of being where I'm gonna be at 7. I have to come up with I started working on one, a loose schedule. Look at that. Yeah, you get me started. Even the idea of writing a schedule for music practice. Uh, yeah, music practice, physical workout practice, which is supposed to be running, some light calisthenics, and my yoga regime all over again. But you can't do this all at once. That's a shock to the system, and then you'll just want to hop out a window. So I'm gonna start this with running, but I still have to write up the whole thing. Somewhere around June, July, I should have implemented everything, and you guys should notice it because my music playing will be better, and I won't be drinking on stream. But we'll see if you stick with me because we're gonna slide this whole thing over, like I said, in a couple of weeks to another platform. So we will see what we will see when we will see it. And we'll still be here too because we've got unfinished business. Uh, I didn't even get to say goodnight, man. How you rushing me off the stream? Pushing me out of here. Come on now. All right. So yes, we should. Uh, I wish there was a game on. There isn't there? Hmm. All right. Well, I guess I'll watch some football highlights while I try and fix my whole deal. Um, drink more water. Plan plan to seize the day. You know, you should make New Year's resolutions, even if you don't keep them. You should try and keep them longer and longer every year, but you shouldn't make them. And it's you. You know what you want to, right? So my whole New Year's resolution thing is about doing more stuff, and worrying less about the things that I'm drawn to, like politics, right? Look, it's like love. You can't keep loving a girl who don't love you, right? Then you become stalky and creepy and weird. So I love politics. Politics don't love me. I am not going to become stalky and creepy and weird. I would just be interesting over there in the new year. Come get some. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women, streamers and stream watchers. Is that a thing? I think that's a thing. I want to thank all of you for coming through, especially you, William. It's always good to see you in the chat. Um, I I'll be back tomorrow at 7. But we're gonna take Christmas Eve and Christmas Day off. I hope you have a good Christmas, William. If I don't see you, I hope too. But if I don't, have a good Christmas. If Christmas is what you celebrate. If not, have a good time off. Um, make sure you what did you make sure you do, William? Make sure you like and subscribe, and enjoy these last days of this slowly ebbing year, and get ready for like the boom that is a new start for the 2022s. We'll see you in the next one, everyone. Again, thank you, William. Catch up with us, like and subscribe. Oh, where's that thing? Where is it? Oh, good lord. This is what happens. Here it is. Like and subscribe. Both of those are going to be important come the new year. Duh, 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 duh. And you can see the promise a young go-getter like myself with his first forays into the harsh crew world will get into in the new year. And I'll say stuff like, gosh, a lot. It's going to be awesome. Disney's going to eat it up. We'll see you in the next one. Next one's tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come get some. And if you don't, and if I don't see you, Merry Christmas.